Hey, it's Meggie Kay. So today is just going to be a fun talking video about some of the places I have been dreaming about visiting lately. I realized I haven't been outside of Canada since I moved back from Japan in September of 2019. This is the longest I have been in Canada consecutively since I was 18. So it's a little weird for me. And yes, most of that time was pandemic and I couldn't travel international anyways. I did manage to travel quite a bit domestically, which is really good. I've been wanting to do that. But yeah, let's talk about some of the international trips that I have been dreaming about recently. Now, do I have any plans to do any of these trips? No. Will I ever actually do any of these trips? Who knows? I just thought it would be fun to talk about some really cool places around the world that I would love to visit. So basically, these are 3 trips that I have been dreaming about recently. Trip 1, hopping around the Mediterranean. It's been a while since I've been to Europe and I feel like it's about time I make my return, and I'd start this trip in Spain. Spain has been near the top of my to travel list since I was like a teenager, and I've never been there besides a layover in the Madrid airport. So I need to go to Spain, and basically I would go through Spain, kind of loop around the Iberian Peninsula, including Portugal. We're not leaving Portugal out of this. And so yeah, I'll go around the Iberian Peninsula before hopping over to Sardinia. Apparently, there is a ferry that goes from Barcelona over to Sardinia, and then I travel that island, go down to Sicily. I've been to Italy before, but I never made it south of Rome, so this is kind of like my opportunity to do southern Italy, at least going up to Naples, and then kind of finishing off on the Adriatic coast, which of course I would just hop over to Greece at that point, travel around mainland Greece for a while, and finally end with a little bit of Greek island hopping. So yeah, I think this would be an awesome trip, just like make my way all the way across the Mediterranean via boats through all of them. The only issue I can see happening with this is my seasickness because that's an issue I have hopefully over the years. I haven't been on a boat in quite a while, so hopefully it's not as bad as when I was a kid. But yeah, I think this would still be such a cool trip. And I've definitely been dreaming about like kind of going through the Mediterranean like this. Trip 2, South America's West Coast. South America is the last continent I need to visit, except for Antarctica, which I don't really count because I don't really have an interest in going there in the first place. But I need to go to South America. And I actually mapped out and like budgeted this whole trip while I was in Japan, because this is how long I've been just like dreaming of that. Basically, ever since coming back from Japan, this South America West Coast backpacking trip was like the trip I was going to plan out and I was going to actually do and book. And then, yeah, couldn't really travel. So I haven't done it yet. But I definitely still dream about doing this trip. This would be a 4-month-long backpacking trip, starting in Colombia. I travel around Colombia. There's so many cool things in Colombia, and then kind of go through overland to Ecuador. And I'd take some time in Ecuador because even though it's a fairly small country, there's so much to do. I'd go out to the Galapagos Islands, go into the Amazon before making my way down through Peru. I can do the hike to Machu Picchu and then kind of carry over into Bolivia. Even though I say this is like West Coast, and Bolivia doesn't have any coastline, cross over into Bolivia. I'd go through the salt flats before busing over into Chile in the Atacama Desert, which I'm a big desert person. I have to go to the Atacama at some point in my life. And then travel all the way down through Chile to the very bottom to Patagonia, do some amazing hiking down there. And obviously there'd be more stops and things to see than I'm just like mentioning here right now. Like I said, I would probably spread this out over 4 months. But basically, I feel like this would be a really well-rounded and thorough backpacking trip. And I've actually also thought about like extending it into like an 8-month thing, slowing it down even more and adding in Central America, like start in Mexico and just like go through all of South America, take the boat over from Panama to Colombia, and then do this trip. The longer I put this trip off, the more I'm just like expanding it into a longer trip. I feel like if I don't do this soon, I'm just going to start, well, you know, we're in Patagonia, might as well go up through Argentina and Brazil. This is just going to keep adding. But yes, the South American West Coast is a trip I've been dreaming of for a very long time at this point. Trip 3, Scotland. I was thinking about making every trip I talk about in this video be a multi-country trip, and I could have. There are definitely multi-country trips that I've been dreaming of, like Central Asia, all the countries there that I missed out on. There's definitely ideas, but there's also just something about Scotland. Scotland has been on my mind quite frequently over the last 3 years. I have a thing for foggy weather and rocky shores. It's one of the reasons I was really excited about this opportunity to move out to the east coast of Canada, because it has that same vibe. I mean, it is Nova Scotia. But Instagram in particular, Instagram has been very, very good at like torturing me with these beautiful clips of the Scottish Highlands, and I can't stop thinking about it. The cities, Glasgow and Edinburgh, seem like beautiful cities to just kind of wander around. Also, like, it's not just the main part of Scotland. I'd love to go out into the islands around Scotland. I'm not a huge beach person, but I love being by the ocean and having like rocky shores. And from what I see in photos, I can definitely get that in Scotland. So yeah, Scotland, you're beautiful and I wish I was there. Anyways, that is everything from me for today. I just wanted to do something fun, just talk about some cool places. So let me know in the comments what's a place you've been dreaming about traveling to, or would you do any of the trips that I mentioned? Or am I just weird for just like dreaming about all the places I could go and different routes around countries that I could take? Because that's what I spend a lot of my spare time doing, is just kind of like daydreaming about this kind of stuff. But yeah, that is it for now. Make sure you are subscribed because I'll be back with another video soon. Bye.